And welcome back to Colbertradio.com. I normally Percy do this, but he's still eating chips.
Oh, hold on.
All right, go ahead, Percy. We got a lot to get in here.
Welcome back to Colbertradio.com.
All right, now political. This is the segment where we wax political.
I handle this too.
Normally you do.
But tonight, I think you've got the meat of the discussion.
Hal Rogers is in line to become the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee. His own district calls him the Prince of Pork. He had $98 million in earmarks last year in a democratically controlled House of Representatives with a supermajority, and he still got $98 million. I'm telling you,
that's a man that knows how to play the game.
I'm telling you, there are probably Tea Party people out there already throwing up. Let me tell you something. If the Republicans screw this up,
it is their own damn
fault. This is the end of the line for them.
They have 2 years to get it right, it's the end of that party.
It's the end of that party.
This is
never give them the time of day again if they don't do it this time.
And the Democrats,
you don't have to win.
Nothing more.
You just have to stand up. You just have to stop some things.
You just got to say you want to.
Now,
how hard is that?
Going along with that, we at Colbertradio.com would like to thank our listeners who send us emails and give us heads up on things. And one of our regular listeners is a guy is Mar Al. We won't use his.
You were asking about.
What?
When you looked at the camera and said, "Who the hell is watching this live?" That might be Mar Al.
Yeah, no, that's right. Mar Al's probably watching this thing live.
Jeez,
well, I don't know if he watches it live, but he does watch it. But nevertheless, we won't use his real name since he hasn't given us permission to do so. But Mar Al gave us a heads up on a guy named Howe, who was a Democrat. Yeah, no kidding. You won't believe what this guy said.
No, I'll believe it.
And what position is he?
Well, he was a superdelegate for Obama to the Democratic National Convention in 2008, and he is a Democrat operative and advisor here in South Carolina.
Oh.
And he was retained by WCBD TV2 on election night for the Democrats, along with Charles Librand, who is a Republican analyst and advisor. And they set him. They reserved his services for that night, so they have a Democrat and a Republican. Sounds very reasonable to me. Anyway, this guy could not control himself. He is so despondent. He is so upset over the fact that not one Democrat won a statewide office in this election, and he couldn't, for the life of him, figure out why that would be. And he began to talk about how disgusted he was with the voters of South Carolina, and he couldn't understand it. He said, they vote blindly Republican. They should have voters' remorse. He objects to Nikki Haley. He's so disappointed in our state. They only vote for people with an R after their name. What else did he say? They gave not much in the way of consideration. And Charlie Librand goes, first of all, you can see the reporters, they were not sure how to deal
the reporters
with this.
Like, is this really happening?
You can tell they were trying to change the general trend there. Waringhouse was having none of it. No. And Charlie Librand actually looked at it and said, that is one of the most elitist things I've ever heard.
This will be a genius moment of theater right here.
Yeah.
You want to do this? Okay. You be Charlie Librand, and I'll be wearing Howe. And here, give me the hat. The hat looks very pretentious. I like it. You be Charlie Librand. You be wearing Howe. You say...
That is one of the most elitist things I've ever heard in my life. I mean, how elitist can you get? I mean, do you honestly think the people of South Carolina gave no consideration?
That's not elitist. You're elitist. You take it back.
I know. He's asking, take it back.
That's what he said. He said, take it back, after he called the South Carolina voters idiots. And then Charlie Librand says something like, well, 300,000 people voted for Alvin Green. Aren't they voting straight ticket as well? Nothing. Drawn dead.
Yep. Anyway, he said, Republicans are elitist. I'm offended. Take it back. I'm not elitist. Take it back. And then he said, they just don't give it much consideration. Obviously, when he said, Librand says, you really think the people of South Carolina did not give due consideration to how they're going to cast their votes? He said they don't give it much consideration, obviously. Then Charlie Librand says, you don't give the people of South Carolina credit to know what they're doing? And he actually says, no, I don't. I can't believe this guy. He's making it so easy for me. And he goes, you're personalizing. It's voting out of habit. Democrats do that too. They don't know a whole lot about the candidates. And he goes, no, Haley was 30-second sound bites.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And then Charlie Lybrand and then Waring Howe kept going, we had the best candidates we have ever put up before in this state.
Yeah.
And Charlie Lybrand tried to point out to him, he said, isn't that something for the voters to decide? He said, let me try. You can say that all you want, but we thought we had pretty good candidates too. Let me try that. We had the best candidates we've ever put forth for state office. And Waring Howe goes, what are you smoking? You really believe that? And Charlie Lybrand said, this guy's just making it too damn easy.
Yeah, he really
It's
was.
like shooting fish in a barrel for Charlie Lybrand. We had some of the best candidates we've ever had in the statewide ballot. Let's see, how do we decide? And Lybrand said, how do we decide that? Now, obviously making reference to the election. And so anyway, that was Waring Howe, and I wrote a rather extensive op-ed.
A rather scathing op-ed, by the way. Very well done.
I don't normally go after somebody like I went after Waring Howe, but this was so blatant. I mean, he basically called us automatons, just mindless sheep. That's all we are. And frankly, I objected to that.
As it turns
I
out,
pointed out. I
don't think that's.
I point out all the reasons why someone might say, you know what, I just don't think I can vote Democrat this time. And let me tell you, I have voted for some Democrats in statewide elections in this state, and some of them I thought were pretty good. I thought they were pretty good. They turned out to be pretty bad.
Yeah, whoops.
Anyway,
this was the first time I considered voting straight ticket.
Jim Clyburn.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Jim Clyburn.
That's understandable. Drew did.
But I should have.
Yeah. It was really
when
quite
it came
simple.
right down to it.
I honestly could not bring myself to vote for a Democrat this time simply because of what that party did. And the fact that most people, including Sheehan, are supporters of things like Obamacare, that sort of thing. And how can Waring Howe actually expect me to support a group of people that would support a piece of legislation that they not only did they not write, they didn't read it.
Nor did they have
and
the
they passed it,
American popular support.
2,700-page bill that they admitted, no, I didn't read it. I'm not going to read that. I can't read that.
Yeah,
then why are you voting in favor of it?
Who was it? What was it? Baucus. Oh, they always say read the bill. But it's hard to read the bill. That's why we have staffers and what.
If no bill should come before Congress that they aren't required to read and know.
Well, that should be a law. Why don't they
that should be a law.
I
say, well, we're trying to do such an extensive thing. Then don't do it in such a big chunk.
Right.
Do it in smaller chunks. It's a better way to do it to begin with.
There really shouldn't be a bill that should be much over maybe what?
This bill actually states that in order to be a citizen in good standing, you have to buy a particular product or service.
I've never heard the term citizen in good standing in
what
American
else?
legislation.
If you don't, then what are you, scalawag
then
or something?
you are fined. You are technically in a criminal class. If they can fine you, it's because you are an outlaw. You violated a law, and they have created a criminal class. And if you don't get insurance, you pay the fine.
Now, I'm no political expert, but I am, kind of interested in something like this. Isn't that closer to fascism?
There's no way that's going to stand.
It won't. But I'm saying
their argument. I agree. The argument they're going to make is that interstate commerce allows it.
Sure.
The other argument would be that it's forbidden either in the 9th, but especially in the 10th Amendment, where specific powers not granted to the federal government in writing, they have no such authority, and there is no authority for it.
Sure. And you know what? This one I'm going to defer to you on, but I think the Democrats. How long do we have before I go into?
You got about 30 seconds. You got something you want to say?
Yeah,
say it now.
It was very clear that the Democrats in this administration and in the past 2 years have made the statement. You elected us. We're going to do what you elected us to do. And when we said don't do that, they said no, you're stupid. And this is what you get. And then you get a Waring Howe, and you also lose 60 seats to the Republican Party. I hope both parties learn their lesson from this election.
Well, we're going to see. And here on Colbertradio.com, we've talked in the past about how we picked a lot on the Democrats. And the reason being is you control the government. The Republicans were immaterial, but now they're not. And don't think for a minute we're not watching, and we're ready to rip them a new one. Anyway, everybody say goodnight to Snodgrass. Good night, Snodgrass. And good night from all of us at Colbertradio.com.